Hey there, everybody. I am King 5 meteorologist Leah Pezzetti. It is Tuesday evening, just after 6 p.m., and I wanted to check in and take some time to give you the extended forecast on this first alert weather day. Let's take you to a couple looks around the Sound. As of this Tuesday evening, we have a lot of blue sky out there, a really nice day so far. And as we look at our temperatures that we've observed so far for the day, Shelton did hit that 90-degree threshold. Olympia, Chehalis, Puyallup all hit 88 degrees so far. Quileute actually hit 90 degrees, exceptionally warm for that region over along the north coast. So yes, we are certainly feeling those warm temperatures. And it's a big difference compared to where we were on Monday evening, 24 hours ago. So this is the change from this time yesterday. We are up 20 degrees in Quileute. Yeah, that makes sense with those warm temperatures. We're up 16 degrees in Friday Harbor. We're up 17 degrees in Port Angeles. Bremerton is up 15 degrees. So yes, temperatures are on the rise today, and this warming trend will continue as we head into tomorrow. Now let's talk about where that sits compared to normal. So far today, Bellingham hit 84 degrees. Average is 73 degrees, so we're more than 10 degrees warmer than the normal highs for the year. The record is 89 degrees though, so we're not quite at that record threshold. SEA has hit 88 degrees so far, 10 degrees warmer than that normal of 78 degrees, but still not that close to that record of 93 degrees. Olympia even farther off from the record. The observed high of 88 so far is well below the record of 96, but 10 degrees warmer than the seasonal 78 degrees. So yes, it is summer. Yes, this is the time of the year when temperatures are warm. But 70s and 80s is normal, but we are talking about 90s as we look forward. So because of that, Tuesday and Wednesday, our first alert weather days, we'll let this expire Wednesday evening once that sun sets and temperatures start to cool. This is because of those temperatures that are going to be well into the 80s, and some mid-90s are going to be introduced tomorrow. And also, we're keeping an eye on an increased risk for fire. The hottest temperatures are going to be around Central and South Sound. The increased fire risk is for the Cascades. That's where we have our alert in place, which I'll talk about in a moment. But I will say that everywhere has an increased fire risk. It's the time of the year when things are dry and our conditions in the sky are warm. So as we take a look at our 7-day forecast, we're going to hold on to that first alert weather status through Wednesday. We'll let it expire, and you can see why. Temperatures are going to be cooling down into the end of this week. By the weekend, we are in the 70s. That is much closer to normal for this time of year. So we'll look at our highs for Wednesday. We'll give this a moment. Sorry, the data is taking just a moment to lag here. And you know what? Here, if that is not going to load, let's get this graphic going. There we go. There's our temperatures for tomorrow. We're going to be into the 80s and well into the 90s. You can see around Bremerton, Seattle, Kitsap, and King counties, that's the marker. So those counties, and then south of there is where we have the best chance at seeing the 90s. So into South Sound, Tacoma, Olympia, and then down as we head down I-5, Chehalis as well, looking at those mid-90s for tomorrow. We'll hold on to 80s north of that, so mid-80s for our warmest spots. So yes, it is definitely going to be a warm one tomorrow. We have a lot of sunshine on tap all day long. We'll hold on to those sunny skies. Let's let that data load there. Sorry, it's lagging just a little bit, but you can see those 80s into the afternoon, upper 80s into the afternoon, and we'll hit those 90s into our late afternoon and early evening hours. So because of this, we do have a heat advisory that has been issued by the National Weather Service everywhere in orange here. So this goes all the way up from Whatcom County through pretty much all of Puget Sound, down to the south, through that I-5 corridor, through the Chehalis, through Hood Canal, through the Kitsap Peninsula. A lot of us in the lowlands are under this alert. This is going to end at 10 p.m. on Wednesday night because of those temperatures that are well into the 90s for some. In addition to that, we have a red flag warning that has been issued. This was a fire weather watch, but it's been upgraded, so worse conditions for the mountains. This is during the day Wednesday, so 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. This is for the Cascades above 1,500 feet. Here we have hot, dry, and breezy conditions. There's those temperatures that are going to be warm, and the relative humidity is going to be dry. So it is dry and it is hot. Those are the biggest concerns with that fire risk on Wednesday. Here's an hourly breakdown in Everett. You can see that it's a little bit cooler up to the north. We'll spend most of the afternoon in those mid-80s, but as we push down into King County, we'll let that data load there. You see those 80s into the afternoon, and then we'll have a couple hours where we're sitting in those low 90s right around that evening commute time frame. Same thing around Tacoma. These are our hottest areas. We'll be into the low 90s for a good chunk of the afternoon. Starting as early as around 3 p.m. or so, we'll be in the low 90s and we'll stay there until the sun starts to go down. Kitsap Peninsula, same thing. We're touching the 90s and we'll sit there for at least an hour or so. Now, let's talk about heat risk. This is our heat risk for Tuesday. You see a good chunk of the region is in orange, but we have a little bit of yellow mixed in there as well. Yellow indicating minor heat risk, orange indicating a step above that moderate heat risk. As we take a step forward into Wednesday, we hold on to that orange, and then into Thursday and beyond, we're gonna let that yellow take hold. So you can see the heat risk is decreasing as the week progresses. So what is heat risk? We're not just looking at temperatures. Temperatures, yes, are significant, especially when we talk about summer heat, but heat risk takes a couple other factors into play as well. One of the things that we consider when we look at heat risk is how unusually above normal the temperatures are. So I showed you that at the beginning of this. Normal temperatures are in the 70s. So when we track temperatures in the 80s and 90s, that is well above normal. So that is a huge factor in that increased heat risk. Also, how long is the heat going to stick around? Is this just a one-day stint in the 80s and 90s, or is this going to be multiple days of above average temperatures? And that exhausts our bodies. What's the difference between the daytime highs and the overnight lows? Is it hot during the day, but it really cools down at night and we get that little bit of overnight relief, giving our bodies a little bit of a break? Or does it stay warm overnight as well, relatively speaking? And also, what's the proximity to the CDC's thresholds for health risk? So these are important things to consider, especially because in the Northwest, we're not acclimated to that extreme heat. We don't live in the desert. We don't live in Phoenix. We don't live in Las Vegas. Those areas, yes, are well into the triple digits. Their bodies are acclimated. They also have the infrastructure to prepare for this extreme heat. So when we in the Northwest see temperatures that are that far above average, yeah, that heat risk goes up, even though the temperatures on surface level on paper may not seem as high as other parts of the country in regards to summer heat. So that is a good thing to keep in mind, and especially in the context of that departure from normal. We take a look forward here. For Wednesday, the hottest day, we are going to see temperatures, look at that, about 15 to 17 degrees warmer than normal. So that adds to that heat risk. Thursday and Friday will calm things down, still staying warmer than normal, but a lot more manageable. And then we'll see temperatures leveling out back closer to normal as we head into the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. I will add also that with that forecast of 93 degrees on Wednesday, that looks to be the warmest day of the year so far at SEA, the airport. This will be the third time this year that we have hit the 90-degree marker at the airport, which is the average. We typically hit the 90s 3 times each summer. That is the average number of times we see it. So looks like tomorrow we are going to hit that average for the summer, and the summer is still young. Here's a look at tomorrow afternoon, those clear, sunny blue skies. The ridge is going to start to break down though. So into Thursday morning, you see that nice onshore flow pushing cooler, fresh air into western Washington early in the morning. That'll add just a little bit of cloud coverage, specifically along the coast and down to the south. That'll also help cool temperatures down a little bit. Nice afternoon clearing though, and we see a similar trend into Friday as well. We'll usher in a little more cloud coverage. We'll keep temperatures on the cooler side as well. So with that, we will let that first alert weather status expire after Wednesday. So we're still going to hold on to that heat Wednesday. It's the hottest day of the year, hottest day so far, and well above average, but we let those temperatures level out a little bit into the weekend. We'll let temperatures cool down a tiny bit. And with that, we will let the first alert weather day expire, and we'll return back to much more comfortable, normal conditions for this time of the year.